Okay, so today everybody who's doing the retreat is gathered here. It's our first day of being together. So we've been going through some introductory kind of things that are helpful for the retreat. And this morning we were talking about the 5 precepts and how living according to the 5 precepts helps us to live together more, more peacefully, more harmoniously. And the precepts also help us to be more at peace within ourselves. So along that line, I thought to read you a letter that we recently received from one of the inmates. Venerable Jigme had sent him. We have this one book. It's probably up there. If it's not, we can put some copies. It's called One Life, 5 Precepts. And it's about the 5 precepts. And she sent him a copy and asked him to write his reflections. So I want to read to you what he wrote. Okay? So he said, I received the book, One Life, 5 Precepts, about a month or so ago, and was asked to read it and write back my reflections. I'm not sure what you're wanting, but I've read it twice and I want to share what it means to me. Excuse me, sometimes my voice is not so good. Up until about a year ago, I repeatedly broke all 5 precepts without any mindfulness whatsoever. I went around living in a fog, angry that I had to live another day in this place. I lashed out at people. I just took whatever I wanted. I was always high on some kind of drug. I've hurt people that didn't deserve what I did. He's in prison in Indiana somewhere. All this time, I was stuck in a cycle of pain, causing pain because I was hurting and only making it worse by my actions. Sound familiar? Have we done this? Then, one horrible morning, I watched a friend of mine brutally stabbed to death by 2 other inmates. He never had any problems with these 2 inmates. It was a gang-related event, and he was a victim. He didn't deserve it. That was a changing moment in my life. I realized that what I was doing, I realized that wait a minute, this isn't typed right. I realized that was what I was doing to other people. Was these kind of horrific actions. If something like that could happen to a person who didn't deserve it, what did I have coming in my way for all that I've done? I quit drugs cold turkey, went through detox alone in my cell, and had a long look at who I was and who I would become. Around that time, I met another inmate who gave me a book called Buddhism for Beginners by Venerable Thupten Chodron. It was like reading a book that was written just for me. It opened my eyes and answered so many questions I was having at the exact moment in my life when I needed it the most. Since that moment, I've read every available book on Buddhism I could get my hands on. I was familiar with the 5 basic Buddhist precepts, but before reading One Life, 5 Precepts, I was familiar with the 5 basic precepts before reading the book, but it was a good refresher and gave me confidence that the path my life is now on is the proper path. I now walk with mindfulness in almost every action I take. I'm aware of my speech because even a harsh word can have effects that I'm not immediately aware of. For example, that person then lashing out and hurting another person. I do not take anything that doesn't belong to me. If I'm meant to have something, it will come to me. If not, I do without. Maintaining my sobriety is hard in a place where drugs are so plentiful. People think that there's no drugs in prison. But I am aware that my mental focus and my spiritual confidence depends on having a clear mind. Although at this time sexual conduct isn't that prevalent in my life, I am aware of how it affects my life and those around me. I have been to rock bottom, felt its effects, and ended up taking somebody else's life as a result. That is a weight, a burden, that is beyond the word heavy. It is life-changing in a way that I can't even begin to describe. When I stopped ignoring its effects, and finally accepted what I'd done, I realized how precious even the smallest life is. Now I'm so aware of my actions and their effects that when it rains and the earthworms escape from the wet ground and cover the sidewalks, I look like I'm playing hopscotch, avoiding stepping on them. I get funny looks from the other inmates, but it doesn't bother me because I know what I'm doing. I know I can't change what I've done, but I can take steps to ensure it won't happen again. By living my life within the 5 precepts and basic moral good, I'm much happier, much less angry, and know that I have some good things and some happiness inside of me. By living how I am now, I've seen things and met people that my old self never would have, and I've seen its effects on those around me. I actually feel good most days, and it's only getting better from here. So I hope that explains things for you. Thank you for the book. I will pass it on to others, and hopefully it will affect them like it has me. Pretty amazing, huh? Yeah. And so that's the value of just getting our basic ethical behavior together properly. You know, that's the change that can happen in a person just from observing the 5 precepts. Quite remarkable. Yeah. So it's something for us to contemplate and also to put into practice ourselves. And, you know, he noticed the effects on other people, but he also noticed that maybe for the first time in his life he was happy. Because when he was walking around disgruntled and angry and lashing out at everybody, he himself was not very happy. Yeah. So I think it's quite profound. So this is why we have places like the Abbey where people can come and keep precepts and nobody thinks you're weird. You know, nobody's going to offer you something to drink or puff, and even if they did and you said no, nobody would pressure you and nobody would say, oh, come on, you're being so puritanical. You know, it's a place where you can really, you know, keep your ethical conduct in a good way.